Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Disciplined Agile Interactive Live online workshop. This workshop is organized by PMI Swiss chapter and presented to you by Alvision, PMI training partner. Tonight we will have with us Frank Tassone, Antje Lehmann-Benz, Frederic Lieser, and Dr. Philip Diebold from Alvision, who will present the basics of Disciplined Agile, shall walk you through a real case study and talk about certification part of Disciplined Agile. Before we start, let us just remind ourselves of some basic rules on this conference. This is a webinar, and all attendees will be muted during the session. If you want to chat and to interact and pose the questions, you can use chat and QA buttons in the Zoom. The session will be recorded and later will be published on the PMI Switzerland YouTube channel. If you can't hear or can't see, please use the chat, let us know, and please also make sure that you have the latest Zoom software downloaded locally. We shall use polls during this presentation. Participation is recommended and welcome. Here you can you can post your questions during the presentation, and here you can use the QA instead of chat for the question, please. If some questions interesting remain unanswered, we will answer them in the email that we will use to send you also the slides after the event. Now, as an icebreaker, let us know where you're joining from this evening. So, most of people we have from Switzerland, some are coming from other parts of Europe, and we have some people coming from Africa. Welcome. So tonight, the agenda for tonight is that we will briefly present PMI Switzerland chapter. We will tell you what we do, what we have done last year. We will present how to follow us, and we will present our speakers. Then our speakers will continue, and they will present the topic of this evening. Some introduction to Disciplined Agile, a practice example, path to the certification, 5 steps on how to choose your way of working, and then they will be available to answer your questions. Then we will do some closing remarks. We will show you what events to follow. After this, what we will also like you to pay attention to is that we will also invite you to training session for Disciplined Agile certification. Stay tuned. After the presentation, we will also give you the dates and the information about the training. And finally, as usual, we will also present a survey form for you to fill out, and the PDU code for those of you who need the PDUs, who are eligible for PDUs. Now, PMI Switzerland chapter was quite busy last year. Last year started very busy as every year. February we have annual members meeting, and that takes a lot of time to organize. So last year, first that happened was the new PMI brand launch in the beginning of the year, then the preparation of annual member meeting in Zurich. Special guest was PMI CEO Sanil Prashara. Then we had the launch of the new PMI Switzerland website. We hope that you like it, that you see the change. In April, we also had, when the COVID measures started, we switched to virtual events, and April saw the launch of the first virtual events. Then we also started with monthly coffee with the board, also virtual, so that we can share some information about what is going on within the PMI Switzerland. We introduced new social media channels like Instagram and YouTube. PMI also organized the PM workshop for junior achievement in Africa. Then new HR process was introduced. And finally, we also had PM workshop for the University of Lausanne as part of the mentoring, PM mentoring process. All in all, PMI Switzerland was quite busy, and we are quite happy that we were able to share our experience with other parties in Switzerland and out of Switzerland. So we had, in summary, 4 social good outreach sessions. We had 5 live events. We had 14 networking, 17 virtual events. We have 85 volunteers participating in all of these. We had 1,200 event participants and over 1,500 members. So last year was, although last year was constrained with the COVID situation, we were able to strive and to figure out and to adapt to the new circumstances. We also hope that these circumstances will not last and that we will soon switch also or return to on-site events, to seeing people live. But again, we will for sure keep virtual events as a way of engagement. Now, please don't forget to follow our social media channels. Here you can see our how to follow us. You can follow us via LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Our website has 17,600 page views. You can also use our website to contact us via email, via contact form. So please don't hesitate, post your questions, take contact with us. We are here for you.
I want to say hello to everyone today, and I'm going to give you all the best wishes from the PMI Switzerland board. I'm Stefan Fesemeyer, and I'm leading all the events team, the special programs, and also the social goods team. And maybe you think I'm sitting here in this beautiful hotel and joining this session. Unfortunately, not. But maybe one of you can sit here soon, or maybe not soon, but in 1 year. You see it on our logos currently and on our webpage and all of our communication that we have a very special year this year. 2021 is our 20th years of PMI Switzerland chapter. And this is a reason for us to have a celebration. But at the moment, we are very sorry and we cannot really clearly plan a big celebration party. But for sure, we want to take all our members and all our friends with us in this interesting year. And we have the idea to invite one of you to this beautiful hotel. But it's not a simple and easy task to go here. We created some kind of game. And here are our basic rules. So we have 20 years PMI Switzerland, and we think we want to build together a sentence with 20 words. So 20 of our free online events will be used to show you a word that you can collect. All these words together will give you one sentence related to PMI Switzerland chapter. And all of the people who take part in this game have the chance to get a prize. This prize will, as I showed you, a voucher for a Swiss Alps weekend together with your loved one. And this game is open for everyone. It's for our members, for our volunteers, but also for our friends. And also, yes, for our speakers. But mandatory is that you find the sentence that we're looking for. And this means you should join all our 20 events, or you can check out the videos, because every event where we will show a word will be recorded and be available on our YouTube channel. The announcement of the winner will be in the next annual member meeting that will most probably happen in the Geneva area. And that will happen, we hope, as an in-person live event. But let's see. And for today, I want to say thank you to the team. I want to say thank you for all the attendees. Wish you a lot of fun. And now this is the word that you should collect to get your prize. Take it, note it, or watch the video, and now have a lot of fun and good learnings in our session today. Thank you.
Okay, so let us now present our speakers for the evening. Alvision is the training company from Germany, and they are a PMI Switzerland PMI training partner. Here with us are now Frank Tassone, Antje Lehmann-Benz, Frederic Lieser, and Philip Diebold. So without further ado, let's begin with.
Thank you. Then I'll take the honor to take over because, yeah, I would also like to welcome you to this event as part of the panelist team today, as part of the presenters team. I'm allowed to start and kick off the session from our side, which is our vision side. We're here to present Disciplined Agile to you tonight, which is the reason why you came. So without any further ado, I think I should just start sharing my screen. Right, okay. So I'm giving you a quick introduction to Disciplined Agile. First of all, we will take questions later. So this presentation now will be without taking questions right away. You can, of course, ask your questions, but we'll get to them and answer them later. So I will just hold my presentation first. And we will have also interactive parts and questions answers later. And my co-speakers will also take care of that as well and take over other parts. So we've created an agenda for you guys today to follow. And yeah, we'll start with this introduction. It will not be 30 minutes, it will be 20 minutes, my time box. So I'll have to make it a bit quicker. I'll skip some slides. This is the official slide set that has been provided from Disciplined Agile to volunteers presenting what Disciplined Agile is in their chapter or in other chapters. Such as we're doing tonight. So I'm Antje Lehmann-Benz. I'm a Disciplined Agile instructor, certified instructor, and also Disciplined Agile chapter champion for the PMI Germany chapter, which is also used to be the Southern Germany chapter, now is the all of Germany chapter. And yeah, let's go ahead and start with the presentation. So first of all, we're going to talk about a bit what Disciplined Agile is, how it can help you maybe in your projects as project managers. You can take a closer look at Disciplined Agile together with me a bit later on. I'm seeing how many topics we can cover in the given time frame. We'll just see how much of a closer look we can take, but then there will be an even more closer look a bit later, which is when my colleagues, such as Philip Diebold, who's also here in the call, will then present kind of a deep dive of Disciplined Agile in practice also after me. So I don't need to take a too close look with you guys today. I'm here to provide the overview. And yeah, how can we do better by evolving our way of working, and what are some learning resources and maybe kind of summary of at least my part I can also provide to you. So what is Disciplined Agile? First of all, I think it's really important. I also published something about this on LinkedIn the other day, and Frank Tassone, who's also here in the call, has written an entire great article also on LinkedIn about it not too long ago, where we described that it is really important that Disciplined Agile sees itself as a toolkit, not another framework. And what does that mean? So you're probably, in your project management world, we didn't make a survey now, or I don't know exactly what your guys' realities is. It can also be a bit different, of course, and your industries are probably different. However, many of you are probably confronted with the fact that you're now working in projects that have to be or are supposed to be, or you want to deliver them in a more and manage them in a more agile way. So for that, chances are that you've already turned to some frameworks for help, such as maybe Scrum as a framework, or actually one of the most popular ones, or maybe even SAFe as a scaling framework for larger and product development endeavors and things like that. So chances are you're already working with a framework or have heard about it at least. And now, what is Disciplined Agile as opposed to that? It's a toolkit and not another framework. That means basically it doesn't really matter where you are. It doesn't matter which framework you use. Disciplined Agile can help you get better in your agility, tackle your challenges, find solutions to your problems, starting from where you stand with your teams right now and independent, agnostic of what you're already using. So a toolkit that encompasses theories of flow, lean, also the theory of constraints, organizational development. That means ideas that have been around for a while, that you've maybe heard about. You've probably heard about or even tried applying principles from, for example, lean manufacturing, lean management in your projects. And it's also not new that the Agile world that started maybe around, 1980s, 1990s, and then got a bit more established with the Agile Manifesto, and ever since then, even more. It's not new that there were some ideas also taken from Lean already in the Agile Manifesto and in all the frameworks that were already created before the manifesto was written. So Scrum, Extreme Programming, all of those also look to other ideas that had been around before, maybe from the world of quality management, process management, and so on. And Disciplined Agile also wants to acknowledge that kind of heritage, that world that the or of ideas that the Agile world has also started incorporating. And the DA, however, doesn't stop there, but provides more straightforward guidance than we think some frameworks leave you with, that enable us as project managers, project practitioners, as people working in product development teams, for example, enable us, all of us, to make better decisions inside our organizations about our way of working. So that's for the teams, but also for all the people working with those teams, stakeholders, for example, striving to make the products in your organization better, for example, or the outcomes of your projects better, and maybe even the people that are then taking care of things in operational and functional departments, so that everyone is kind of on board with this Agile transformation. Disciplined Agile can give us concrete guidance and help us with that. So it's an umbrella overall of Agile that can help us be a bit more disciplined when we feel that our attempts at becoming more agile, as great and as successful they might have been, there are also a lot of challenges, and sometimes we might almost feel that it kind of tips over and starts getting a bit too chaotic. So if that's something that resonates with you, I'm sure I've seen it. Then Disciplined Agile is really there to help to also create more discipline. So there's really also meaning in that name. You can see on this slide the three, or actually, first of all, Scott Ambler, Mark Lyons, the two guys at the top here, are the original founders of Disciplined Agile. And you can also see Al Shalloway, who's an important contributor because he is really a real expert. I recommend, by the way, following him and the other two guys on LinkedIn as well, and on projectmanagement.com and read their blogs. So Al Chalaway has created Flex, which is a model also for getting teams more into their flow, into a flow of working. Again, moving a bit away from frameworks as a good, like Scrum as a good starting point, but then evolving from there to get them into a way of working that really creates value for the organization. That's what all three gentlemen that we see here on the slide work together as part of Disciplined Agile. And maybe you're already aware, but Disciplined Agile was then acquired by PMI in 2019. And ever since then, along with the Flex model by Al Chalaway, has been further developed into what is Disciplined Agile as we know it now. Let's take a closer look at that. So what does that mean exactly, and how can it help you? What are maybe some challenges that Disciplined Agile can help you tackle? So first of all, one way Disciplined Agile can help you is that with the toolkit, you can better optimize your teams. A starting point maybe being this perspective that your organization is a complex adaptive system. So a system in which there isn't a perfect understanding of the individual parts. So each team knows pretty well what they have to work on and what they're doing. They know their projects, they understand their immediate environment and things like that. But that doesn't give you automatically a good understanding of the whole system's behavior. So what Disciplined Agile tries to provide is really also kind of systems thinking to look at not just one single team in one single organizational area, but as you can see here, all teams that maybe have to be considered for in an organization, or even maybe people that come from the outside of an organization, external team members as well, that all help to create value, to deliver value in maybe your organization. So the idea is to take a step back, take a systemic view, look at the big picture, and again, not only look at projects or product development teams, whichever way you want to look at this, but to also consider enterprise teams. So maybe enterprise architecture teams that are there, your finance department, maybe any others, because we assume that usually, or we would assume, right, that people in finance also interact with your project teams. And that means they will have to understand what those teams are doing. They will have to understand what agility means. They might even have to become more agile or learn more about the agile mindset, and maybe some more than that, also learn how to work in a more agile way, as our teams are evolving there as well. So Disciplined Agile is not only looking at IT, right? The IT department is often in organizations where Agile transformations start. Those are often the first teams to start applying frameworks, Agile frameworks, such as Scrum or others, or attempt to work in iterations and things like that. But we don't want to stop there and leave IT such like an isolated bubble that works in an agile way, where while the rest of the environment and the organization has no idea what those guys are doing there, right? So we really want to incorporate everyone with Disciplined Agile. So that's one reason why it could pay off to look at Disciplined Agile. Another is the DA Toolkit enables teams to extend agility beyond teams to the entire organization. Like I just said, we want to then take a look, not so a systemic view was just the first reason and the first step, and now we want to get to what we call business agility, so Disciplined Agile across the entire enterprise. And that can, for example, be done with the process blades chart that Disciplined Agile, or the process blades, while looking at the process blades that Disciplined Agile recognizes and has developed. Process blades address specific organizational capabilities, again, such as finance, such as people management, data management, procurement, and so many more. So again, the foundational layer is what you see in red here, captures the fundamental skills and knowledge required for business agility overall. But then we can see with the blue disciplined DevOps layer that comes into the picture here, we already start capturing how we can streamline our solution delivery in an enterprise. This will often be a topic within IT. But we don't stop there. As we said, we will then look at the entire so-called value stream. So the value stream layer looks at where how does value reach customers. So the value an organization creates, the outcomes an organization creates, how do these actually reach the customers? How long does it take for those outcomes to reach customers? From the first time we realized as an organization that there's a need on customer side until they actually hold the result in their hand and can work with it or can use it. How long does that take? And do they really get what they need and what helps them? So all of these questions are addressed when we look at the entire value stream. Again, taking into account also strategic perspective, but maybe also our marketing initiatives, maybe the sales team, realizing that there's so many more people involved than just an IT team, which is still at the core of it here of our product development, but there's so much more to it. And then we have the disciplined agile enterprise layer that captures the organizational process that is required to support those value streams. So it doesn't work if, again, our finance department, for example, isn't supporting the whole thing, if legal isn't in the picture. Yeah, also enterprise architecture and all of these strategic also departments and sections and organizational areas that have to be involved. In overall information technology strategy, for example, also has to be fitting. So the systemic view that I talked about in the first step that we just saw is really now this maybe portrayed in much more in depth in the second step, which introduces or describes now the process blades that Disciplined Agile recognizes in order to look at business agility. Let us look at a third way that the Disciplined Agile Toolkit helps us, which is by accelerating value delivery also in scaled situations. And this is another interesting tool. We said that Disciplined Agile is a toolkit. There's one tool here that's a tactical scaling factor diagram that has helped organizations and in this case also teams to really look at their situation and evaluate that and then find a way of working also based on their complexity, their situation that they're in, what they're facing. So we ask as a team before we decide what works for us, we also look at questions such as how high is our technical complexity of the solution that we're creating? How important are compliance topics? Are we working, let's say, on a software, for example, for aircraft operations or to actually fly airplanes, or maybe a self-driving car or other things that, you know, if it fails, if the system fails, there's really maybe people's lives at stake. Or are we creating an app that is maybe fun to use, a game or something that is definitely not, you know, and as critical as anything else? In between, you can see steps such as process compliance can be important, financial compliance then can be a next step, and then the life critical is the highest level here of criticality that we find. And those were just describing now the technical complexity and the compliance. As you can see, there's more. We also want to know how big is our team, how geographically distributed is our team. Are we all in the same time zone, maybe even in the same location? Or are we globally spread out as a team and everyone works in different time zones? That absolutely changes our way of working, as does domain complexity. How complex is what we're working on? Are we actually developing a new AI solution or something that no one has ever done before? Or are we doing something we've done already, or at least other people have done, and where we can turn to some established knowledge and lessons learned and experiences? So more of a straightforward solution, not necessarily simple to build, but we basically know how to go about it, right? Building an oil rig or something is probably more straightforward again than building the next cooking robot. Just shooting some examples out there now. And yeah, organizational distribution is also important. Are we one team from people all from our organization, or do we actually have people also from other organizations? I can tell you that I'm working right now in a project where there are people involved from so many different organizations that alone creates so much complexity. It's really interesting to look at that, and it's not to be disregarded easily, because that might actually lead to us missing some points that are so important to consider, and also missing some risks. Or are we completely outsourcing our project and we actually have to work with an external provider to make something happen? And as an performing organization, we don't actually have so much influence, or we really have to make sure we have that influence. So all of that changes things, and that's why we have to consider. Okay. Okay, let's look at what we can see when we take a closer look into Disciplined Agile. We already saw now two great tools that Disciplined Agile provides. One is the process blades chart, and the other is the tactical scaling diagram. But there's more. There's, for example, the DA. So there's really a lot to DA. It's almost impossible to describe it and show it all in 20 minutes, and that's not what I'm here to do. But I'm just giving you some glimpses into what you will get to know if you really want to start this journey of really diving into Disciplined Agile as a comprehensive toolkit. One important really thing to mention is also the mindset that is behind it. I use already the word mindset, and I know a lot of people use it often. And be that as it may, or however some people feel about the word being stressed so much in the Agile world, it is important to have the right mindset, of course. And Disciplined Agile acknowledges and recognizes that the Agile mindset is important. Plus, Disciplined Agile adds to this their own principles, their promises, and their guidelines. Of course, in accordance, in harmony, in alignment with the Agile Manifesto. So you can see that there are principles. We believe that we want to delight our customers. We want to be awesome. It's also a nice principle that DA has. That we believe that context counts. The tactical scaling diagram that we just saw is best example for that. We want to be pragmatic. We also believe in pragmatism. We believe in choice. We want to optimize also the team's flow and organize around products and services. And we want to have enterprise awareness. Those are the principles. And you can see from that, it follows that we also make promises. We promise to create psychological safety, embrace diversity, accelerate value realization, and so on and so on. You can see all those promises here on this slide. And we also have guidelines. There are things that we just want to stick by as kind of rules that we want to follow. We want to make sure we always validate our learnings. We don't want to assume we learned something without having really validated that it's really true. We want to apply design thinking concepts maybe and attend to relationships through the value stream that I've already mentioned earlier. So, and all the other things you see here. So there's so many things that the DA mindset builds upon that are partially also found in the Agile world in general and are surely all recognized, but Disciplined Agile here also creates an emphasis or maybe also kind of new emphasis on context, on the importance of choice, and on things such as psychological safety, diversity, and how important that is. Again, no Agile practitioner should say, what, I never heard that. Usually they should subscribe to these in an instance. But the way they're phrased here is really something that Disciplined Agile kind of provides to the Agile world, and especially also to people who are working with Disciplined Agile. Okay, let me check. What else can we take a closer look at without overwhelming you, without taking this too long? But that could still be of interest. I think I know. I want to show you also something else, which is the process goals. Just sneak preview, kind of. There's so much to say about process goals. If you check out the book Choose Your Wow that you can find on PMI.org, and if you're a PMI member, you can actually download it for free, just like you can download the PMBOK guide. You will have your own personalized PDF if you download it. If you look at Choose Your Wow, which is the Disciplined Agile main guidebook, so to speak, you will, most of it actually, or not most of it, but quite a sizable part of it describes these process goals. So that's really an essential part of Disciplined Agile. That's why I want to mention it. This can help you tackle your challenges as a team. So for example, if right now you're really a bit struggling maybe, or wondering how can we improve with exploring the scope in our project or in the product that we have under development, how can we understand the scope of that product better? Then just as this example, Disciplined Agile offers you this process goal diagram, as it's called, and you can really look at it as a kind of a decision tree that can help you figure out what can help your team in a given situation. So for example, we want to explore scope, we know that, but then maybe we want to also move one step further and discuss that right now it's really important that we first of all understand how our users of the product are going to use or are already maybe using our product. We really want to understand that. What can help us do that? So you can see that we can, for example, work with epics. Maybe you're already also doing that, right? But and those are kind of the default things that you see here in a bold font that you're probably already doing. You're likely already working with epics and user stories if you're an agile team trying to explore usage. So that's quite straightforward that you would use that. You might even already be doing something like story mapping, which is really a great technique, by the way, to prioritize requirements and to plan also your to do your release planning even later. But you could also look into things that you might not be aware of so much at this point, which is, for example, something like persona. Not every team is working with personas, but it could help you if it's something that sounds interesting to you. And you can refer, for example, to the book. You can also refer to the Disciplined Agile website, actually PMI website, Disciplined Agile content that can help you understand what's behind these. So there you will find also explanations there in the book. For example, it looks like this, that those are of course also a bit more described, so you know what this is, and you can decide with trade-offs and pros and cons to be taken into consideration if this is something that could help your team. That said, one person can, of course, feel a bit overwhelmed with all these many process goal diagrams. So it's still good to have someone who has experience with using these, maybe even someone who has experience with using Disciplined Agile process goal diagrams. So Disciplined Agile coach or consultant here, or value stream consultant is a new certification that is out soon. So people who can also help you here with making these choices are probably sometimes still needed, but you have a comprehensive toolkit at hand that you can definitely consider for use also to tackle your team's challenges. So,
Antje, thank you very much.
yeah.
We will see later more about in the technical walkthrough, what Frederic will present. So it was a short introduction now on Disciplined Agile, and now we have the next slots. We will get a deeper dive in with Dr. Philipp Diebold now for the second slot. Then we will see the technical walkthrough with Frederic Lieser, and at the end I will present something about the certification and the training content. We had some questions already in the questions and answer room, and don't hesitate to answer your questions. Then at the end we will discuss with you, or we will answer your questions later. Thank you very much, Antje, and now I will take over to Philipp.
love to give you some insights really in short to have enough time for the discussion later on, for the training path, which Frank already mentioned. And I even saw some of the questions which I directly might refer or answer, at least from my point of view, during the short real-world implementation. And when we start with the real-world implementation, just to give you a short agenda, I will first give a very hyperspeed overview of Disciplined Agile, which more means giving some add-ons to the things which Antje already mentioned. Then going through some process tailoring and even showing how process tailoring works within Disciplined Agile with respect to or compared to some other frameworks like SAFe, like Scrum or something like that. Going to some of the governance part, which might also answer the question about and Disciplined Agile is not only for IT, but showing these tailoring diagrams, which Antje showed, was mainly showing IT things. And finally coming to the real world strategy, which is a part of GQM example, which is a pleasure for me to present something like that to you, because the GQM method was developed by my PhD supervisor. So from that point of view, even this is great thing for me to give you that information. So to not keep it as long, I just want to directly dig into the details regarding the overview. And Antje already mentioned the aspects regarding the decision process decision toolkit to help the people, teams, and the overall organization. From my point of view and our point of view in general, the really most important thing is about the aspect of having the aspect of business agility, not covering only the IT part. And in the next slide, which you already know, at least from the figure, I will give you some more insights how that's going to work, and showing you how the different aspects like IT operation, enterprises, finance, and all these other things are covered within Disciplined Agile. So when we saw that slide, for sure, the thing which Antje presented regarding the scaling factors, they are related to the discipline DevOps, which Frederic will later on show in the interactive part regarding Choose Your Wow. Nevertheless, you see all the other parts, mainly the parts on the top, like people management, enterprise architecture, finance, vendor management, and legal parts, are these parts that are most important for the organizational agility. So I normally don't call it business agility. What does business mean? For sure, everything might be business, and it's more about covering the complete organization with agile mindset, not probably the agile methods overall, but some things of the toolbox, and even the mindset, the principles, the practices, which you've seen before on the slide with the 3 steps which Antje presented. And the most important thing, which a lot of you might know already from agility, not an agile method, but from agility in general, DA provides transparency into options across the complete entire organization, or even organizational ecosystem. If we don't talk about one specific organization, we could even see several organizations working together on one product. For example, I'm working a lot, or our customers are working a lot in the automotive domain, where it's not only one OEM delivering a car. They have a tier 1, a tier 2, and a set of different suppliers which are working together, which is more a kind of ecosystem where they will need to work together over there. And when we talk about Disciplined Agile not being only, or agility not being only part of IT for sure. Some of you might already that figure, which is one of the life cycles in Disciplined Agile, where we have the business direction, the value realization, but we have also the implementation. And the funny thing is, if you start to integrate agility over there, which is even this disciplined DevOps, which you have seen before, with the figure of the scaling factors and so on and so forth, for sure we get in a lot of speed over there. But if we want to have a lead time of the overall cycle, so seeing when the value is realized, when the customers use that, and when the customer gets some kind of business value out of that, we also need to view or check agility against the other parts of this life cycle. And therefore, IT is no longer the constraint, because a lot of the companies start their Agile transformation with respect to the implementation and the IT world, and don't cover the other parts later on. But if they are Agile already in their IT department, the missing part is the other way around. And that's one of the hardest things, where a lot of companies struggle with, and where they don't know how to deal with different parts and how to come to different aspects over there. So that's so far about the business or organizational agility. And I want to go into some more details, as Antje already mentioned, regarding the process tailoring toolkit or tailoring decisions. And some of you or all of you should already know some kind of diagram like that, because Antje showed it before, with the different process goals, with the different options, and later on the single practices, which we see over here, which is kind of a decision tree, which potential practices to use later on. And Antje already mentioned about the prioritization, which we have over there, about the best choices marked by bold and italic ones. The good thing is, when we see that in the application, whether it's in the Choose Your Wow later on, or whether we have it in an example right in 2 slides or something like that, you will see that there are funny things when we compare that to the frameworks like SAFe, like Scrum or others. Because in general, if you go for the Choose Your Wow book, which Antje already mentioned, free to download for all PMI members, you have, I think, around 1,000 different options to choose from. So it's a large bunch of different varieties and practices which you can choose from and see what you get there. And the good thing is about Disciplined Agile has the option awareness, which means there is no one size fits all for process decision. So it is not the solution that every company just says, okay, we are using Scrum. It's the most prominent Agile method, so it needs to be the solution that also fits for us. To be honest, there is no solution that fits for any company or any team, or even any software team. Most of the companies or most of the teams that are using Scrum are adapting Scrum to their needs. So that's not an original Scrum, but an idea to adopt that. And this kind of adaptation is kind of implemented directly within Disciplined Agile by the option awareness, because Disciplined Agile knows the aspect that there is no one size fits all or silver bullet working to all of that. And when we, for example, look at one of these frameworks, doesn't matter which one, whether it's SAFe, whether it's LESS, whether it's Kanban, whether it would be Scrum, or whatever kind of Agile methods or framework. The funny thing is, you could go through all the different decision diagrams of Disciplined Agile provides, and cross out all the things that are not happening within these methods, and you end up with a Scrum, with a Kanban or something like that, because all the things that are not crossed out at the moment here are giving you a complete Kanban approach, a Scrum approach, a SAFe approach, whatever. So if you go for a specific framework like the things that which I mentioned, These frameworks already decide for you, independent of what might be your context, about what might be your culture in the company or whatever. It just decides because you said, okay, I want to go for Scrum or anything else. And then the picture looks like the picture which you have seen here on the right, or even if we go to the next slide, we see at the end, it might be like that. So your implemented practices, without understanding why to use them, it's just not providing you any choices, but restricting you to this is the only way where you should go to. And as I mentioned at the beginning, even some clothes say there is no one size fit all, or does everybody of us is fitting into an M t-shirt or something like that. Not for me. So this is the reason why there's a difference in all these things. And when we talk about these different frameworks, here's a kind of specific explanation where we see the different methods, frameworks, whatever you call them, like the waterfall, the Scrum and extreme programming, Kanban, and the startup way. And the good thing is Disciplined Agile covers all of them. So also some of the classical practices like it's about use cases or those diagrams, they are covered within Disciplined Agile. So it's not only Agile stuff or things. And a similar thing also holds not only for the simple methods like Scrum, Kanban on the team level, it's also when we consider the scaling. So having not only one team or having several teams working in one product, or even having a complete organization which SAFe covers, all those things or elements from these different frameworks, methods, tools, whatever you call that, are also part of the Disciplined Agile Process Toolkit. And that's kind of one of the important things that you see how large the overall toolkit is bringing in information. So now giving you just a short example into the process tailoring and how such a process tailoring workshop might look like within the real world governance example. First of all, the funny thing is about seeing how these agile thing from Disciplined Agile fits to project management. I think a lot of you already know the concept like sprint zero or an architectural sprint or something like that. If you would be an agile evangelist, they are not really agile, but you see that a lot of these agile guys and agile teams already experience that we need some kind of inception phase before we can start with our execution, with our running the project. And this is exactly also an experience within Disciplined Agile. There we are not only talking about having a Scrum and just saying, okay, product backlog pops up and then we can start developing. There needs something to be done before to come up with a project backlog. And that's part of the inception phase, which is seen within Disciplined Agile. So from that point of view, you see that there is some kind of combination, having not only an agile mindset, but integrating also the things from the classical world that are needed also in agile projects. And that's kind of very important to have it inside all those things. So we have also some kind of gates between these different phases like inception, execution, and transition during these aspects. And now coming to some strategical part, and as I mentioned, drilling down from strategy to implementing, there's a good kind of tool which you can use, which is the goal question metric. The funny thing is, probably a lot of you already heard or know about OKRs, which is kind of a hype, I don't know, 2 years ago, and still in a hype to use OKRs as a kind of two-factor based model for defining goals and aligning a kind of strategy of the organization. And there is a method which is called GQM goal question metric, which is, I don't know, even much older than OKRs, which is works in an exactly similar way, which is just not only 2-factor based, but it's 3-factor based instead of the 2 factors, because OKRs are mainly missing the question part, which is the most important. So they are just talking about an objective, which could be also similar to a goal, and having a key result, which could be something like a metric. But the question about how to align the goal with the metric is missing in that point of view. And from that point of view, oh, there's a typo, it should be 164 to 166 within the book. This method, the GQM method, provides you insights and a way how to get here and how to align your strategy that is aligned with the overall disciplined agile aspect. And from that point of view, just to give you an example of a mind map which you created here, you can have a strategy plan with some goals like be easy to do business with, and there we have some kind of questions later on, so you can see that you could even have some hierarchies within the goals, and then have some questions like how well does technical pipelines to support time to value and all those things. And at the end, we have some kind of new metrics to use later on. This GQM is not specifically part of the Disciplined Agile Toolkit, but it's one of the things which you can greatly use within DA to allocate your strategy and combine it with all different things. So to wrap up my part, and I think I have only 1 minute left, which fits exactly to my time box. My suggestion why to use the Disciplined Agile Toolkit is because it contains, I would say, almost everything. It yet prescribes nothing. So as I mentioned with the frameworks, it doesn't say don't use that thing. It just describes what things might be good for you, your context. And because it forces function on critical thinking and will therefore work with rather than against your culture. So it's even working with the culture than against the culture. And for example, it fosters an agency and therefore gives you a more deep engagement in all the things regarding agility which you need. And I hope that this gives you a quite short overview in some deep dives in some kind of real world projects where we worked in with Disciplined Agile. And from that point of view, I directly hand back to Frank and Frederic to go for the next part.
Yeah, thank you very much, Philip, for your deeper info in Disciplined Agile. So we had to start with Antje with the introduction, with a short overview. Now we heard something about what is the difference between Disciplined Agile and other frameworks. And now we will have a short overview of the 5 steps of choose your way of working. It's 5 steps of choose your wow. What is presented by Frederic Lieser, our colleague here in our Disciplined Agile team. Thank you very much. We have only one signal channel, so you will see Frederic in the video frame, and you will hear it from my channel. Okay.
Yeah, hello everybody. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Antje, for the neat presentation so far. And let's dive deeper in a process tailoring workshop. So I've shared our Miro board. It's a real-time whiteboard, and here I will give you a glimpse at the process tailoring steps, the 5 steps of choose your wow. So you can imagine you are an agile coach, a DA expert in your field, and you will improve the work with your team, and you can use the steps to incrementally improve the work and work with Disciplined Agile. So I have a little use case over there to give you a little bit of context, and with this information, we go through the different steps. So we are Team Groceries. We are a startup. We set up a website to sell fruits. And so we are around 8 to 10 people, and our goal is to deliver the website within 8 weeks. So how can we do it? Here is the overview for you all. I'll make it a little bit bigger. These are essentially the 5 steps of Choose Your Wow. And these is essential to know all about Disciplined Agile delivery. So we are on team level here. So how can we use Disciplined Agile on team level? So that's very important. So which steps we have here? We first have to analyze the context of our team. So as Disciplined Agile says, context counts. Then we select our best fit lifecycle. How do we want to deliver our solution? Do we work in an agile way? Do we work in with some ideas of lean and Kanban? Or are we even working sequential, traditional? It's also possible. So that's the second step here. The third steps, now we have make a selection how we will deliver our solution, and then we check our priorities. So which process goals are the most beneficial to us and our team and our company. And then we make some choices. So we are one layer deeper and make some choices on our process goals. And then, as always, in Agile, there is a guided continuous improvement process within our 5 steps. So we keep in mind to always get better and start where we are. So let's follow me over here, and you see something familiar, I guess. Antje already showed it to us. It's the spider diagram for our first step. So we can talk through all the scaling factors with our team. And we can make a nice visual overview of our context. So in this case, we are a small team, about 10 people. We are co-located, we are a startup, and the skill availability of our team. So we have to set up a website, and we have some e-commerce experience. Maybe we can go over here. It's maybe available soon. So compliance is maybe something between about informal and internal oversight. We build a new standalone solution, and our domain complexity is straightforward. So you can use this spider diagram to foster discussion with your team. So that's very important at the start, that you get a good picture of our current situation. So we've made the first step together, and then we can select our life cycle. What does it mean? We can go over here. Here is one decision tree that Disciplined Agile handed us to make it maybe a little bit easier to make a decision on how we will come to our solutions. So let's check it out. We can go over here. Has someone else chosen the life cycle for you? Disciplined Agile says, the team is the expert, the guys working on the solution. Those are the experts. They must choose their own life cycle. So please, if someone else choose your life cycle, then go over here and say, no, we are the experts. We choose our own life cycles. Do you understand what customers want? That's the next question. And you see here, maybe I can, at the end of the decision tree, there are the 6 main life cycles within Disciplined Agile. So we have our first decision to make. Do you understand what customers want? Do we know what the solution will look like? Or do we have to make maybe a design thinking workshop? So we can go over here and say, okay, it's a website. Maybe we have a glimpse of what our customers want, and we can go over here and say yes. And so the exploratory lifecycle is more like a lean startup lifecycle, and yeah, you build a minimal viable product and so on, and you can use design thinking for that. Is this a large program requiring a team of teams? If it's only a project, like in this case, you can say no. Here we have a program lifecycle that's similar, like a team of teams, Scrum of Scrum, a scaled framework. So we can go over here. We say no. Is this being funded as a project, or is it maybe a product, or maintenance service process, something like that? We can say, okay, we have our own budget. We are funded. We have a clearly start and end date, and we can say yes. Is this low risk something you've done before? No, it's not low risk. And then you see, do you face rapidly changing requirements from your customers? If you select no, does the team have agile mindset? Yes, some members in our team have an agile mindset. Then we can go over here and select the agile lifecycle. So here we've chosen, it's a very quick overview, we've chosen the agile lifecycle, and we can go over here. It looks something like that. And you will see when you are familiar with Scrum, you will see some familiar practices. So here's the backlog, here are the initial requirements, here's the backlog, then we choose our iteration backlog, and then we're doing the work, and then we make like a sprint review, and then we have our increment, our consumable solution, and then we can release our solution into production. And here are the milestones for Inception, construction, transition that Philip already mentioned. So we have always a lightweight governance from Disciplined Agile for all our projects. So when we finish step 2, maybe we have figured out, we want to work in an agile way, and we've cleared our context. Then we can go over here, and we can finally dive deeper into Disciplined Agile and all its options, and we can connect the dots. So we make some prioritizations. So over here, you can see all the practices associated with Disciplined Agile, and behind all the practices, there is a goal diagram and some decision points. And we can, for example, choose one. We see explore scope. Maybe we can go over here and go and have a deeper look at form team. So here you see the goal diagram, you see form team, and within form team, you have some decisions to make. So you can go use it as a checklist with your team. As you are the expert, you can use it as a checklist and talk through all the points if you like. So you can see some decisions might not be even relevant for your team. So you can really quickly say, yeah, that's not relevant for us. It's no problem. You can cross it out. So and here you can make some decisions and go one step deeper in, and you can say, okay, maybe for the size of our team, Disciplined Agile, you see an arrow at the side, and the arrow indicates that there is a preferred solution from Disciplined Agile. So if it's possible, it is preferred that maybe your team is a small team, 2 to 15 people, and not a large team of teams with 30 plus people. So you can also, the bold options are good starting points. So if it's possible, start with your team, start with a small team, about 2 to 15 people, and get the work done. So you here make some prioritization for each for each phase: inception, construction, transition, ongoing. And after that, yeah, you make your decisions, as I mentioned, and then you can select, yeah, your options here, and yeah, you can evolutionary, yeah, get better and better. So you choose your options, and then yeah, some time goes by, and yeah, you will check if the options you choose yeah, are right for your team. So we come to the last step of the 5 steps of Choose Your Wow, the guided continuous improvement process. So how do we do it? We can see here, yeah, we can identify a problem mainly. You can identify potential solutions, and then, yeah, you try the solutions, and then you assess the effectiveness, and then adopt what works, abandon what doesn't. And as always, very important, share the learnings within your team, within your company. So you get better and better over time, and you can maybe choose a new life cycle. You start with Agile, and then you notice, okay, maybe Agile is not the right way for us. We better use a Lean or Kanban. Then you can try this out, and so yeah, you get in the flow and start your journey with Disciplined Agile. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Frederic, for the short walkthrough. What is behind the 5 steps of Choose Your Wow? How to apply, how to implement this, and this is only, yeah, in a really short time, a small introduction and a small, yeah, view in Disciplined Agile. So let's come to the last slot. So wait 1 second, sorry. You can see it. Okay, let's talk about the certification and training paths in the next 10 minutes. You will get all the slides, and there are more slides with description and with more information as we can present actually now. The most important is that you get now a sense and yeah, some information about the entry level, the expert level, and the certifications what we are offering since last year. These are now the new certifications. We started in January last year. We presented the Disciplined Agile Summer Academy in Europe. So we had many people from whole Europe what we brought to the certification and to the trainings. Maybe you have you saw this visualization already from the different certifications, including the PMI ACP. There were some questions also in the chat. What about the difference now from Disciplined Agile to PMI ACP? Yeah, we are talking about Disciplined Agile. It's not a project management approach. Disciplined Agile is a hybrid process toolkit what you use for the product life cycles, and it contains also projects and project life cycles. But the PMI ACP, for example, has more the project management view and background, and the Disciplined Agile, starting with the Scrum Master, the Senior Scrum Master, the Disciplined Agile Coach, and the Disciplined Agile Value Stream Consultant, what will come in May this year. Here you can see another perspective here from the different certification levels, for example. For the foundation level, for example, for people with less than 2 years of Agile experience or without any Agile experience, it is really, really important to start with the Disciplined Agile Scrum Master training. It's a 2 days training with the certification. What you must then make between 30 days after the training. For people now with more experience in Agile or maybe PMI ACPs, what you can see here on the right side, with the PMI ACP and also the 2 years of experience, you can also start here with Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master, including then also the certification. The Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master is most fitting really for people with experience in leading Agile teams like Scrum Masters, product owners, architecture owners, yeah, and team leaders of Agile teams, because it is really advanced. And what is behind? For example, for the foundation level, it is based on the content, on the training, the examination, and the certification. And it is mainly the first 100 pages of Disciplined Agile, Choose Your Way of Working, the Choose Your Wow book from Scott Emler. But the DASSM is really, really more challenging, and for people with more Agile background, Agile experience. The next level, the expert level, what is prerequisite is the Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master, and you must, for every training and certification, you must take the training with a PMI ATP training partner from PMI, and then you can continue your journey, your learning journey with the DA coach or the Disciplined Agile Value Stream Consultant. The Disciplined Agile Value Stream Consultant is really interesting because it is one of the first Agile certification paths for consultants in the world. The DA coach also for the organizational coaching, for the team coaching. This is really on an expert level. So you need more than 3 years of coaching experience for each other, for DA coach and for the DA value stream consultant. And then you will get enabled also with the coaching background, for Disciplined Agile. The new 2 DA coach and DA value stream consultant, the new release, we had it already until last year, but now it is reworked. It will come in May this year when we will offer for May or June the first trainings. Here you can see the new PMI learning management platform. All the content, all the learning material is designed with a high level of didactic and learning psychological approach. So this is the new PMI learning management platform with all the course and training material. You can see it is really different training and learning material what you will get with your training. So all in all, the examination is about 90 minutes. We have a person view online examination. It's non-proctored. There are 50 questions, a multiple choice, and you must take the examination between 30 days after the training, because also the training and certification fee from $150 is already included in the price. And now here you have an overview of our trainer team from Alvision. They are DA instructors and coaches from nearly all over the world. We have Daniel, he's from Canada, and we are presenting since last year all in online trainings with a high interactive part, and that was from my side. And now we have a few minutes left for some questions. Here are more information for you about Disciplined Agile. Thank you very much. It was really short introduction and a short overview of Disciplined Agile. And now let's have a look on the questions and answers. Okay. Yeah. So please also the team and the audience from our team and the speakers, maybe you can put your camera so we can directly answer some questions.
Yeah, the first question is, what's the difference between DA and PMI ACP?
Yeah, I already answered this. Disciplined Agile is the hybrid process toolkit with the implementation approach for also the product lifecycle. It it looks on the whole value stream of the company, and it is not only on the operational level because it starts on top. So the PMI ACP is the generalistic training where you will learn the most popular agile methods and instruments. Stefan, please.
Yeah, maybe Frank, you can explain a little bit more in detail the DASM and the SSM, because maybe it's not mentioned up to now. We from PMI Switzerland, we will offer together with Alvision training courses for DASM and DASSM. So maybe Frank, go a little bit deeper to this so our audience will understand what we will offer them.
So we have the pleasure that we became training partner from PMI Switzerland, and that you offer the Disciplined Agile Scrum Master training exclusive for the PMI Switzerland members, and the Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master. The Disciplined Agile Scrum Master is for all interested to start with Disciplined Agile without any Agile experience. It is the basic of Disciplined Agile. You will learn the mindset, you will learn the promises, you will learn the guidelines, you will learn how to apply Disciplined Agile in organizations, in teams. The Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master, what I mentioned already before, is really for Agile, for people with Agile leadership experience, with more background in Agile and at least 2 years of working as a Scrum Master, product owner, and leading Agile teams. And these are the first 2 levels. We have the entry levels, is the Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master. It's a 2 days training, high interactive training with the certification preparation. And then you must make between 30 days the examination. And we support you and brings you in front of the examination location door. It is an online examination, and the same is for the Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master. But for the DS Scrum Master, then also, and for the Senior Scrum Master, you need in these 30 days also, some hours of self-learning phase. You will get a test question from our side. You will be supported by our coaches in the meantime. And we had, until now, we had 100% success rate for our trainees last year who trained with us, with our different trainers in the Disciplined Agile Summer Academy. You will see later, you will see also the offer from PMI Switzerland, where we offer it exclusively for you as PMI Switzerland members. Okay, so further questions, maybe also for Antje or for Philip? Frederic?
Yeah, can you tell me more about Flex, how and when to use it?
Yeah, who will answer? Philip, Antje.
I can also show it on the Miro board, maybe.
Yeah, the Flex life cycle is the entry point. It describes the value stream. The value stream, what is in focus also of Disciplined Agile, and maybe you can show it only the visualization on the Miro board. I don't know. I think that Philip and Antje, they cannot give free their own cameras. I mean,
we can do.
Okay.
So,
Philip,
what about more information on the Flex only in a short means giving information on not only covering the IT part, but covering the complete organizational life cycle and seeing how to get more flexibility, not only in the IT development, which is on the bottom, but in the overall life cycle, the overall business stream, from the value realization over the customer, whether it's internal, external, up to the business direction. with all the different organizational stuff in the middle, which I presented already on the other slide. That would be at least the short answer for now.
Yeah, it's really short, and it's thank you very much, Philip, for the answer from the question. Frederic, maybe another one?
Let me go over to the questions. What is the difference between DA and SAFe?
Yeah, I hope that you understood it from Philip's presentation. I think the question was before. SAFe is a framework itself. Disciplined Agile is not a framework; it's a process toolkit, and it lets you also the possibilities to make your choice independent what kind of agile approach is now best fitting your actual context. Maybe it is Kanban based, maybe it is Scrum based, maybe there are other options, because it depends also the skill level and the maturity, the agile maturity from the team members. If you have team members with less agile maturity, they are starters in agile. You cannot apply more mature agile methods and instruments, for example. So this is the biggest difference, because SAFe itself is a framework what describes also what is best for the organization, what is best now to apply, and Disciplined Agile gives you the options in a different context to choose what you want. And I think we are actually, at the end. I know that the closing will come also from the colleagues from PMI Switzerland. Yeah, it was really, really short. And I invite you to follow us also via our LinkedIn profiles and also via PMI Switzerland. Then we are presenting nearly every week different workshops and presentations. Thank you very much from our side, from Alvision. It's a pleasure to become partner from PMI Switzerland. Thank you very much. And please, Stefan, for the closing.
So thank you very much, Alvision. Thank you, Antje, who left us. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Frederic.
No.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, the team from PMI Switzerland for the great preparation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that as well. And this was a great presentation from your side. There were also very nice questions that you answered, and thank you very much for preparing this for us. Now, I would also like to thank our organization team, our lovely ladies that you haven't seen or heard, but without them, this would not have been possible. So thank you very much, Pia. Thank you very much, Isatu. My name is Nikola Goran Čutura, but the least contributor to this event. So really, without others in this team, this would not have been possible. Now, if you liked this event or other events organized by PMI Switzerland and you would like to contribute, please consider becoming a volunteer. You can find additional information about volunteering on our website, and you can contact us via email to obtain some more information. So you can also participate as a volunteer in organizing events, but also as mentoring others. There are many ways that you can contribute to PMI and to the society and to our professional and our social environment. Now, after this event, I would also like to remind you of some following events. So this Friday there will be a PMI Coffee Talk. So usually in the morning we will have a coffee with the PMI managing board. We can share our experiences. We can hear about the new stuff. And then on the 16th of March, we will have another webinar, another virtual event, empowering each other when working remotely. In the mid of April, we will have 2 sessions, PM Masterclass, Building Your Personal Brand, that will be organized also virtually and finally, in the beginning of May, first and second weekend of May, we will have digital Agile Scrum Master training and Senior Scrum Master training. So for details will be published within a week. So please check back to our website for details about certification training. This certification training will be again provided by Alvision, by the team that we have seen this evening, that gave us an excellent introduction and use case of Disciplined Agile. Now, as we are coming to the end, we would kindly ask you to go and to check out this survey. We would like to improve on our events, and it only takes a couple of minutes for you to answer the survey. So please don't hesitate and provide us some feedback that would help us improve our events and your overall experience with us. And for the PMI members who to claim the PDO code, please check the code here. You can take a screenshot, and the PDO code will also be shared via email together with the presentation after this session. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. I hope that you all had an inspiring evening, that you all have now a clear idea about what Disciplined Agile is, and that you also have a desire that you will consider becoming certified in Disciplined Agile. So check back to our website, and we are looking forward to see you on other events, and also to see you on a certification training. Good night, everybody, and thank you for joining.
Thank you very much all together. Good night, good evening from Germany to Swiss. Bye-bye.